It's you. Come on in. Welcome to the Scumm Bar.
Welcome to the Scumm Bar Podcast, where we talk movies, video games, pop culture, and everything in between. I'm your host, Mattbrush, and with me today is my co-host,
Anth0z.
Anth0z. Welcome, Anth0z. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
First episode, Scumm Bar Podcast.
It's happening.
It's feeling real. We got our waters, we got our setup. Hopefully, mic's on and everything's working. I believe it is. What do you think?
Are we working? As long as we're working, we're okay.
That's fine with me.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
Water. And wait, am I allowed to say names? Is that like advertising?
Yeah, who cares?
Okay. Cronenberg.
Good. I'm gonna advertise Guinness because frick yeah.
Why not? Well, hey, cheers. What are you doing? Wait.
Sorry.
We just clinked.
Clink. Fantastic. Ooh, I love good Guinness. It said in the notes I was supposed to describe it as grog. Do you know what grog is?
I don't know. Irish barrel drinks.
I would have thought that too. I thought grog was beer, to be honest. I always thought it did. It's actually rum. I think grog was like rum that was like with spices and berries and all that stuff. It's what pirates used to drink. Yarr.
Grog. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they were all intense. All right. Do you want to move into the? This is our first time doing this, so we're just gonna like segue in. I hope you're okay with that.
I guess. I mean,
are you on board? Are you ready?
I have to be.
We're gonna go into ye old news.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right. Ye old news. First thing on the docket, as I'll say, the Witcher movie.
Yep.
Do you know about the video game The Witcher?
Yeah, but never played it.
Yeah, okay. So. I've played like a little bit of it, not much.
Okay.
But I know I played like a slight amount of 2, and then I played like a quarter of 4, which is like 25 hours or something because that game is long.
Is this the one with like the naked horseback riding or something like that?
There is a sex scene with a unicorn.
Okay.
In like the second one or third one, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think we saw that at PAX.
And like that game got like famous for that random scene.
Okay, right.
Even though the game is not really about that at all.
And that's the only thing I remember, so clearly it worked.
It's like a European historical fantasy, if that makes any sense at all. You know, like Game of Thrones is the best example.
Okay.
So take Game of Thrones, make it more fantasy than what the show is, and then put it in Elder Scrolls. And then make it so that you cannot create a character. Because you know how Elder Scrolls, you make a character and all that?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, in this, you play as Geralt. Geralt of Rivia. Right. And he is like the main guy. He's got this whole backstory and all that stuff. So anyways, they're making a movie for Netflix. And they just released that Henry Cavill is going to play him.
Oh, actually?
Yeah. So Henry Cavill from Superman.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that in The Witcher... Okay, remind me, or refresh my memory, but was he not like an older man with like long gray hair? And
yeah, he kind of is.
He looked like Beowulf.
Well, the thing is, it's white hair because I think Witchers, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody out there, but the Witchers have some kind of magic that I believe makes their hair lose its color, maybe, or maybe they're always white hair because he trains a pupil. Her name is Ciri, I think.
Oh, that sounds stressful. I think that's what I was gonna say. You know, like you get gray hairs and white hairs because you get really stressed.
Oh,
when you're dealing with
maybe that's it.
Maybe when I deal with Ciri, it's just like it's kind of stressful. Yeah,
is that why her name is Ciri?
It's
actually it is based on a book series, but I don't think any of these characters are. Well, maybe these. Actually, that's an interesting thing. This movie is going to be based on the book series, not the video games.
Oh,
but Geralt's in it, so I guess he's in the book series. But I don't know if Ciri was made for the games or made for. I don't know.
So in the book series, was there naked horseback riding?
I don't think so. I think that was a game thing only. I'm honestly not sure. I didn't read the books at all. It's made by... I wrote his name down, but I can't really pronounce it. Andrzej Sapkowski.
Yep.
Andrzej Sapkowski.
Yep.
I'm sure that's exactly how he says his name.
I'm not even going to attempt
but that's how I take it. So the other one is Mark Hamill. He's not confirmed, but apparently he himself put his hat into the ring to play this guy Vesemir, which is Geralt's like... teacher.
Vessel. Okay.
Teacher.
Yeah, okay.
He's like he's an older version, not an older version of Geralt, but like an older Witcher that goes and hunts monsters with Geralt, and they like do all this stuff.
Yeah.
So
okay,
I think it's cool because I would love Mark Hamill to do something other than The Last Jedi.
Yeah. Or what's that guy from? Oh, the Jokester? No. What's his name?
You're not talking about Batman, are you?
The one
that was horrible.
What is? You know when he's in
Oh, you're talking about the Flash?
Yes.
Oh, see, I didn't even know he was in the Flash. The Trickster? Is that
The
it?
Trickster, not the jokes.
God, I don't even watch the Flash.
Trickster, yeah.
Oh, but I've seen a photo of that, and I was like, Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Can't he just like? I feel like here's a guy who
Here we go.
He grew up, and he played Luke, and we all loved him for it. You know?
Yeah.
Then he did voices for things like Joker and Wing Commander.
Okay.
Oh, was he the voice of Trickster?
Well, I would assume that they would have like used him to portray like the voice as well, but he did also act as. No, he did.
Well, that's the thing. I saw a photo of him as a live
that's
action
right.
Trickster, but that was, I guess, paying homage to
Yeah.
the voice.
Right. I think they tried to do that a lot with that show because the father. Spoilers.
The father
in the Flash.
Yeah, Trickster spoilers here for any Trickster fans.
Well, okay, so the father the father of the Flash. So I think it's Barry Allen in this universe. The actor who plays the father was the actor for the Flash back in I don't know what series, maybe the 80s.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Flash.
So,
is Flash Gordon the Flash, or is
Flash Gordon is definitely not the Flash.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But
Wow, I just don't know. I've never seen Flash Gordon, and then doesn't he also run fast?
Probably. I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
When it comes to DC heroes, I get mixed up anyways. But
yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, so I was just thinking that I feel like that show just pays homage to a lot of people because they did that for the Flash and also.
I mean, I'll take it.
Trickster.
I was about to knock that we keep like making Mark Hamill look terrible, and like we keep like giving him terrible roles recently, and by that I'm saying the Trickster and the Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I feel like we just keep like that's not the Mark Hamill I want to see. I want to see him ripped. I want to see him with a giant sword and like yelling something and running in a field of battle. That's what I want to see with Mark Hamill.
So you want to see him like Conan the Barbarian?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He doesn't have to be like big like Arnold, but like just like toned, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I say that right? Barbarian?
Barbarian?
Wait, is that a word?
I hope you didn't say that, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay.
That's fine. That's all I had for the Witcher movie. Did you hear about Danny Boyle, James Bond?
Did not.
So
is there new?
The new James Bond is already, I believe. Well, I think that this is the problem with it is that they can't find someone to helm it. So Danny Boyle was supposed to be the guy. He was going to be the visionary director for the whole thing.
Is this like Susan Boyle's son?
You don't know Danny Boyle?
Do you know Susan Boyle?
I do know Susan Boyle. Okay, what's that song she sings? Is it La Les Mis?
Yeah.
She says, I dream the dream.
Yeah, that's the one.
Gone by.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Okay, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's like
that was. Yeah. I teared.
To me?
Yeah.
Oh,
that was great.
Thank you. No, Danny Boyle. You know what's stupid is I can't think of a name. I think he did Slumdog Millionaire.
Okay. I'm also now that I hear Danny Boyle, I'm thinking that Irish song.
I get him mixed up.
Boy.
I actually get him mixed up with
Danny
David
Boyle?
Fincher all the time. I shouldn't, but I do. But I think he did Slumdog Millionaire.
Okay.
But if I'm wrong, then that's unfortunate. But anyways, I do know he's a big director, and the main point of the news is not necessarily who he is. It's just the fact that he stopped wanting to do Bond because he refused to kill Bond. So that's the thing. Now everyone's taking this one way, and I have a different proposition for you because
wait, but I don't know the first way.
Well, the thing is, Danny Boyle says that he refuses to kill Bond, so everyone's saying, "Oh my god, well I guess Bond's gonna die in the next one."
Sure.
What I was thinking, maybe he meant I refuse to kill the spirit of Bond, right? Like maybe he saw what they wanted to do with Bond, and he was like, "I don't want to be a part of killing Bond," you know? Like I don't want to be a part of changing the way we perceive Bond.
Yeah.
So I guess my question to you is, how would you perceive Bond if he was not Bond the way we know him? Like, what kind of Bond would be so bad that he's literally killing the image of Bond?
He's like unbonded. Debonded. I don't. Well.
What a weird last name, Bond. Bond. Is that even a British last name?
Is it even a name? Bond.
Is it a code name, maybe? Bond. But then if it's a code name, why isn't his name like James Cool? I guess that's too obvious.
James Unbonded.
James.
Cool. Wait, sorry, what was your question again?
My question was, what's a Bond so bad that he's not Bond? Like,
what's a Bond so bad that he's
I'm thinking a Bond who wants to be a pop star, and the whole movie's about him trying to be a pop star hero, and he comes out with a single album and it doesn't do very well, and he's really mad at himself.
But I'd probably still watch that.
And then the ending, the climax of the movie is Bond going out on the streets and playing the acoustic guitar, and everyone shows up to listen to him, kind of like the Beatles on the rooftop, but it's Bond. That's the moment where if I was the director, I would say, I refuse to kill Bond.
Well, okay, so I don't know if I could really speak to that because, like, with every different actor that there has been for Bond, I feel like the character has already been has also been so different that
that's true.
You don't really know, like, what is Bond really when he's like he's been portrayed in all these ways, and I think
it's a bit of a perception of Bond, though. You'd agree with that, right?
Okay, well, what is your perception currently?
Swagger. He always has swagger, no matter who he is.
Yeah.
He's perceived as the coolest guy in the room.
Give you an answer to that.
Oh.
Well, thanks, Google.
Was it Google?
That was Google. I don't know.
Creepy.
That was weird.
I was like, who's in the room? It was Google. Google the whole time.
This is just meant for 2 people.
Oh man, I think they heard me talk about Bond too much. Okay, let's move on. Let's get out of the Bond segment.
All right.
I think they're freaking out. Next point, I want to talk about Crazy Rich Asians.
Great.
So, I never saw it.
Okay.
All I know about it is it's doing very, very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you probably had an opinion on that.
That is doing very well. Well, I'm happy.
Or just about the movie. And apparently you've seen it. So
I have seen it. So I tried to think about the movie, one for like its own entity, but then also thinking about like the whole Asian cast thing. And obviously it's great that they are able to portray Asian characters. I think in the way that they want to, like, traditionally and authentically.
These actors are not well known, I assume.
I think
I don't recognize them.
Actually, Constance Wu, there are a few actors in the movie. So some of the principal actors and actresses, Constance Wu. She's I know her mostly for Fresh Off the Boat, where she plays that like stereotypical like Asian fob.
Okay.
It's called Fresh Off the Boat, right?
Okay.
So, but I've also noticed, like, following her like on Twitter and stuff like that, that she does play a big role in like advocating for Asian roles. And I think specifically maybe for this movie, she was emphasizing it's not just about like Asian actors, but Asian American actors, because I guess normally they would find, or maybe in the past movies, they would have Asian people or Asian actors and actresses to play the stereotypical fob character, where they're just like kind of there almost for laughs.
Sorry, fob is Fresh Off the Boat?
Yes,
okay,
fob is Fresh Off the Boat. Sorry, I'm just so used to using that term.
That's true. I've actually never heard that term before. Fob.
Okay, fob. Yeah.
Fresh off
so not
boat.
A key fob. Yeah.
So literally, it's already a fresh off the boat accent with the anagram of it. Fresh
Yes.
off boat.
Yes, yeah, that's true. Yeah, Fresh Off Boat.
Go ahead.
Anyway, so yeah, she advocates for that, and which I think is great, because I think it is that kind of time where finding the appropriate people to play the appropriate roles, and specifically ones that were always cut from that opportunity. I think just the fact that they're able to do this now and get a whole cast for it, where they can portray it in the way that they know authentically, I think that's great. And then I think that's only going to inspire more people, because it's also going to diversify all the kind of movies we see moving forward, right? I think when it comes down to it, the movie, it is a rom-com. So I liked it as a rom-com. I actually liked it more than some other rom-coms that I can think of. But do you watch a lot of like Bollywood movies or Indian movies?
No. On a SkyTrain or something, I'll see somebody watching a video, Bollywood film. That's actually really common. I'll see somebody watching a Bollywood film, and I've never seen them before. Really. Okay. I know some of the tropes of them, but that's about it.
So what I noticed anyway about some of those movies, like, what was it called, The 100-Foot Journey, maybe even Slumdog Millionaire, but when sometimes they'll incorporate things about their culture, and they show a lot of vibrant colors in their food. And I find they put a lot of effort into the cinematography when it comes to those scenes. Like, they're really trying to immerse you in what it is about their culture that is so inviting and enticing. So, like, for me right now, that I notice, like their food, that's like that really hook kind of thing. Right. When it comes to Crazy Rich Asians, then they've got their own cultures that they're trying to portray. And I really enjoyed watching and seeing all that put together. So sometimes, like, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, oh, this is not for this movie, but like in other movies where they're showing all this kind of like authentic, or trying to portray authentically, like culture related things, I'll be thinking like, okay, this seems a little bit too much, cheesy. Like, I don't know, like, would they really do this? Like, this doesn't seem like appropriate. But then watching Crazy Rich Asians, something about the way that they did it, I guess it was tasteful enough that I wasn't thinking like, this isn't too much. Like, it's really beautiful to see. So that paired with like fun storyline to watch, and also they really showed like a good way to modernize just how information travels. Like,
is there an example that doesn't like ruin the movie that you can use?
In the opening scene, basically there's somebody. It's really hard to say without spoiling stuff, but somebody will witness something, and then just think of how fast messages can fly like across the world just because of technology and the internet. Right. And so I think the way they portrayed that whole opening scene, just showing that like visually, was really compelling, and it really worked.
Cool. I mean, I can't speak much to it. I haven't seen it.
Go watch
I just saw that it's done very well,
Yeah.
so I thought I'd bring it up.
Yeah.
And
recommend
then knowing that you had seen it, I was like, perfect. This is
Yeah.
a good talking point, so want to bring that up.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm glad now you've inspired me. I think I'm gonna have
Great.
to watch this movie now.
That's what I'm here for. I'm only here to inspire you, nothing more.
What about Perspire?
I
could perspire.
If I could perspire you,
Is it Perspire? I said Perspire. I think you're right. It is Perspire.
I think it's perspire.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, next on the docket.
Okay.
I don't know why it's a docket.
Sure.
It is though.
It's
What is a
paper.
docket? So the next on the docket is the Spider-Man on PS4 release.
Yes.
Now this is weird. I checked out the release date. It says September 7th. Today is September 6th.
Yes.
So I don't know. It's out now. I don't know why,
Oh.
but it's out right now. My roommate is about to play it. It's probably playing it right now.
Was it released September 7th, like UK time or something?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that EB Games was selling it on their shelves.
Oh.
and whatnot. So yeah. So I honestly don't know.
That's really weird.
Yeah, because I mean, it was really busy at EB Games, and I saw the posters. So that's actually probably a bad way to take that, is that they're selling it right now, because they could easily just be advertising, and it might have just been busy at the time. But since my roommate was downloading it at the moment, he had just bought it, and he was downloading it, and he said he was going to play it today.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, and he's usually up on this kind of stuff, so I assume it's out right now. I don't know why, but it's out right now.
Are you going to get it?
It says releases tomorrow. I'm actually not going to. He bought it, and
Yeah.
he's awesome. He set it up to my PS4 as well. To
Oh,
his.
okay.
So even though he bought it, I also get to play it, which is
Nice.
great.
Great.
But I just don't have the time. I don't have the time right now to play that one. I'm actually playing Final Fantasy right now, 15.
Oh, sweet.
And that's taking up, like, any of the video game time I have, that takes up all of it. I don't like switching between single player games like that.
Right.
But have you seen any of the advertisements for it?
For Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Looks good, hey?
It looks really good.
I just wanted to kind of quickly go over a little bit about the background of it. I'm
Sure.
assuming you already know this, but just to kind of go about it, because this is very interesting for a video game to do this.
Okay.
This is similar to Arkham Knight, actually that's a bad example. It's similar to Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
Or what was the next one? Arkham City, I believe.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So those games, that was made by I can't remember right now. It'll come to me later. It was Warner Brothers partnered with I can't remember. Anyways, so this is where they were given the rights to a superhero. Well, the rights to the superhero, the MCU, I guess, or even just Marvel in general. The company here, Insomniac, that makes Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They were given the rights to Spider-Man, but then they were told to do something unique, like whatever they wanted to do, right?
Okay.
So this is very interesting, because I don't know if you know the other Spider-Man games, but they were all done by Sony.
Oh,
so
okay.
Sony Spider-Man games, or
Right.
the Sony produced Spider-Man games, were always based on the Sony movies.
Yeah.
So no matter what they did, you were always going to be watching either Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield.
Oh, okay.
And you're watching interpretation of them done in the video game.
Yeah.
And I used to love those games. They were great. Spider-Man 2 especially on PS2 was fantastic. I love that game. But they just usually weren't very interesting because they had to be tied down to the storyline of that. So
Okay.
Insomniac, this is the very first time where MCU had, or I don't know if it's, I should say MCU, just Marvel in general maybe. I'm not entirely sure where that portion of the Marvel rights were on the game, but whoever it was, some portion of Marvel gave the rights to Insomniac now and said, hey, you just make the game the way you want to make it anyway at all. So Insomniac got to do whatever they wanted. So with this Spider-Man game, very first thing they said was, we don't want to see an origin of Peter Parker. Perfect.
Yeah.
So they started it
That's nice.
way ahead in the future.
Yeah.
They were like, I'm pretty sure they're even like, oh, Mary Jane, yeah, she's already hooked up with Peter, like, and Harry's a thing of the past, or at least is like an old friend or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So like everything's way in the future now. I think it's like 2-3 years, maybe 4 or 5, I don't know, into the future. So I think even Miles Morales is talked about, or even in some of the trailers.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to stay away from a lot of the storylines. So I don't know if any of this is revealed in the trailers, but I've seen like a few, but I try to stay away from most of it. But just interesting, and even the suit is very different too.
Yeah.
It's white and red and blue, I think. So
That reminds me. Have you seen the trailers for the Spider-Verse?
Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I
yeah.
have seen some of those trailers, which is very interesting. That's an interesting concept and idea, and I think it's probably the best way to do the Spider-Verse stuff right now.
Yeah.
Just because it's such a unique... Spider-Verse is weird. It's really weird. So, I mean, that's probably a good way to do it. And I thought the trailer actually looked unique. I thought that was cool.
I'm really looking forward to it. I think I've always wanted to see something where... I mean, I don't know if there have been things like this where they already combine separate universes or like multiple Spider-Men. Can I say Spider-Men?
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man?
Well, they did on the Spider-Man TV show in the 90s.
Well, that's what I mean. So,
Yes.
like, that was the last time, and I think that was close to when the series ended.
Right.
Like, when it was, like, the whole Madam Web.
Yeah, exactly. That's the last of those. I think it's like episode 190. It's like way at the end of the whole thing.
So I loved, I don't know why, but I loved watching like all those different universes of Spider-Man come together,
Right.
And just seeing like all the different possibilities of what Spider-Man could be in this phase. Like, you know, the one that's like half spider, I don't know, man spider.
Yeah. He's like a spider.
Yeah,
He's a man.
yeah. Still wears the outfit though for some reason.
Yeah.
Needs to keep warm, I guess. And then actually my favorite one was the armored Spider-Man. So he's got like, it's like a black latex suit, but he's got like silver kind of scales like all around. And
cool.
I think he also has like this silver shield. But anyway, like I really enjoyed seeing all these like different layers of Spider-Man. And so That's what I'm looking forward to in seeing this new Spider-Verse movie, because at least I get the feeling that they're going to incorporate multiple universes in one, because why call it Spider-Verse?
I am praying,
right?
I'm hoping and praying for a cameo of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. I think it would be hilarious.
But like not as Spider-Man, just as themselves.
No, as their Spider-Man. But I think it would be so funny. Like,
Yeah.
if they can't do it in the live-action Spider-Man movie, which I don't really expect that, but in this Spider-Verse one, like, have the voices of them come in.
Yeah.
And I just think it'd be so funny. It's just a scene of Tobey Maguire coming in, being as nerdy as he was. Like, hey guys.
Yeah.
Like, Andrew Garfield being, like, skateboarding it or whatever. He would be like, hey!
Yeah.
Like, I think that'd be very fun. I would love to see that in the Spider-Verse movie.
Yeah. I would kind of picture, okay, if Andrew Garfield came on a skateboard, I'm just picturing him kind of like grinding down a rail, but at the same time, emo Tobey Maguire version from like Spider-Man.
Oh,
was it 3?
with the clap?
With the, like the tango, weird tango,
And the hair
emo,
down?
black. Yeah, it was just the most oddest sight ever on big screen. Anyway, so he would be sliding down the rail next to Andrew Garfield on a skateboard.
Love
I think
it.
I'd be interested in seeing that.
I want that as a movie. But
Sure.
I mean, I'm assuming we're not going to get it. But that's what I want.
We could ask. I mean,
Sometimes it hurts to ask.
Okay.
The next topic on the docket.
topic.
Topic on the docket.
The docket topic.
The docket topic. That particular is Ozark season 2.
Yeah.
So I was a big fan of Ozark season 1.
Uh-huh.
Really liked it on Netflix. Thought it was a great show.
Yeah.
I think my significant other and I watched it in, I don't know, I want to say like a few days, like maybe 2 days or 3 days. And we don't do that much with Netflix shows, but
Like binging?
man, yeah, we binged it hard. Finished it quickly.
Yeah, that one I really wanted to, but then I was trying to pace myself so that I would have finished season 1 by the time it was getting close to season 2 releasing.
Right.
But that didn't happen. I had to binge it.
Binge it, whinge it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But anyway,
it's
so
very
obviously-
good.
Yeah.
It reminds me personally of Breaking Bad, but at a faster pace, and every character is on board. While in Breaking Bad, it's a slow pace,
Yeah.
and it's usually a few characters on board. You know?
Maybe that's why I couldn't get into Breaking Bad. I watched maybe the first 3-4 episodes, and I guess it was just moving so slow.
It is a
wanted to
very
watch
slow
it.
pace.
Everybody said like, "Oh, it's so good, it's so good." So I'm like, "Okay, I'll give it a shot." So I tried, but then couldn't get into it. But yeah, with Ozark, first episode, I was
Very first-
hooked.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So season 2's out.
So
I
great.
haven't seen
Yeah.
it at all. So
Yeah, August 31st,
have you
yeah.
seen any of it?
No. What am I
Okay.
waiting for? I just finished.
What are you waiting for?
It's kind of like you with like playing playing one-player games. Like you try not to like go back. And
Yeah,
forth.
you don't
So,
want to
like,
jump across universes, or
Yeah.
else you're in Spider-Verse.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I just finished watching Dragon Ball Super, which I actually really liked
Oh
more and
my
more.
god, I want to get into Dragon Ball Super so badly.
Really?
Yes, it looks great.
It's really
And
good.
I'm glad that Dragon Ball's like, not that it's ever really gone away,
Yeah.
but I'm glad that it's very in the ether right now. Everyone's watching it and talking about it and buying more merchandise. I see so many Gokus out there in the city.
Yeah,
That's nice.
But I find this series, it has gone like a different direction from the previous ones because with
Blue.
the previous ones,
It's gone blue, hasn't it?
it's gone blue. It's gone maybe some other colors.
Less
as
boo,
well.
more blue.
More-
That should be the tagline.
Dragon Ball Super, less boo, more blue.
Blue. Yep.
Okay, well, anyway, yeah, the series has gone like a different route, but I think it still worked.
Okay.
It was still really engaging to watch, and just like towards the end, like the last arc is pretty much half the season, which
Okay.
is great.
Yep.
You don't really see fillers per se, but then without spoiling too much, like there's a lot of characters involved, and so sometimes you want to see other characters more so.
Oh,
but
right.
then you'll
That
still
does
have to see
happen.
like what's happening with these other characters. They fill those in.
A lot of people critique the slower pace of that show, and like I can't really say much because I grew up with the slower pace, so I was used to that.
Yeah.
So
8 episodes of charging.
yeah,
1 episode of like maybe about to release.
yeah, it was, and I was never frustrated as a kid. When I rewatch it now, it's frustrating because I feel like my time is more valuable than it was when I
Yeah.
was a kid. You watch a whole, like what is it, 24 minutes for an episode or something?
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah, so when you watch an episode and like, you know, Vegeta says one line of dialogue, is still in the same spot he was standing in like 2 episodes previous, you know, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
my god.
Kakarot.
Like, yeah. Kakarot. Yeah. Yeah.
Carrot.
Carrot.
Give me my carrot.
Nowadays, that makes me angry. So I watched Dragon Ball Kai.
Okay, I
Which-
didn't watch that, but that's the one without all the fillers, right?
Yeah,
They, like,
it's a
purposely
special
cut it.
edit done,
Yeah.
and I actually appreciate it. I thought I wouldn't like it at all because I felt like it was like taboo or something to watch something that was edited separately.
Yeah.
But I actually really enjoyed it. It's well done. It feels like you're still watching the show exactly the same as you remember it.
Okay.
Because it cuts out all that filler. There's no driving test for Piccolo and Goku or anything
Right.
like that. And
Yeah.
so I like that better.
Okay, that's good.
But yeah.
So Ozark.
Yeah, so that's why I like Ozark.
Yeah.
So but I haven't seen season 2. You also haven't seen season 2?
Have not yet,
Okay.
but I
So
will
then
be watching
least we'll just footnote it in here.
Great.
It's out. It's out.
Note.
Let's at some point watch it, and then we can talk about it.
Sure.
What is your shirt, by the way?
My shirt? Oh, this is from One Piece.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is... Oh, I have to get back to this.
Not 2 piece.
No, not 3 or 4.
Oh.
1 piece.
Single piece.
So this was actually one of those limited releases from Uniqlo. My newly favorite store.
Uniqlo.
Uniqlo. Yeah, it's the one that comes from Japan. They imported the store from Japan. that's the one. You know?
Just imagine a bunch of helicopters just coming in.
Bring it all in.
I don't know why they're doing Final Countdown, but they are.
Manufactured and imported from Japan. The whole retail store. But anyway,
this store just drops down into the city. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway, so so they've been doing these releases. They have like waves. Well, they'll release just a few shirts relating to certain anime or manga.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is specifically from One Piece, and I feel like this is kind of a spoiler. If you haven't
don't
ever
spoil
seen it.
One Piece
But
for
if
me.
This show is like 10 years old.
No, I know.
And this is from like you're not gonna watch it, right?
I you know what? There is a part of me that wants to. But the funny thing is, I'll probably never watch it. But there is a part of me that wants to say yes right now. Like, I want to be like, yeah, I'll jump on board.
Yeah.
But am I really going to watch a 10-year-old anime? Probably not.
Okay.
But,
well,
okay, go ahead.
I will say this, though.
This is the guy with the straw hat and the stretchy arm, right?
That's the one.
Okay.
Yeah. And so this scene is him and his brother. His brother is somebody he really, really looks up to. And between...
He's really tall.
There's he's taller, so he does actually physically look up to him.
Okay.
If that's what you're trying to.
Unless he stretches his neck, I guess. Then he can look down on him.
And then he can also like stretch it past him and look around and
look beyond. Look beyond his brother.
Beyond the brother. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So anyway, so the two of them, and they've got this third best friend, so they're kind of like brothers for life sort of thing. They really
like gangsters.
Brothers for life. Yeah. But they anyway. So this scene. It's just a very, very emotional scene with Luffy, the main character, and his brother Ace.
Okay. Those are good names.
I
should watch this show.
That's the thing about like Japanese naming conventions. Like they've always got really cool names. Like if
Kakarot.
Well, but like there's always some sort of like theme to it. At least with Dragon Ball, like they're all vegetables or something to do with food.
Well, not all of them. The Saiyans are. Oh god, I'm just gonna get nerdy here. But the Saiyans are Raditz, Vegeta, Goku. Right? Isn't Goku...
Is that a...
Or no, maybe Goku's not.
Well, I think they're all related.
Oh, no, sorry. Kakarot's his Saiyan.
Yeah.
Kakarot's his Saiyan name, Carrot. Vegeta, vegetable. And Raditz. No, Raditz.
Yeah.
And then you've got, like,
Gohan,
Frieza and Cooler are just, like, frozen and cool or whatever, right?
Yeah, but it's still a theme. Like, there's, like...
Yeah, and then, like, Bulma and Chi-Chi have their... Actually, yeah, that's the thing. So Bulma has, like... Bulma is a clothing or whatever.
Sure.
It's a bra, I think, right?
I don't... Yeah.
Or no, maybe it's a top. And then they have Pan. No, who's their daughter?
Well, yeah, but
the kids.
Pan and bread.
No, who are the kids? There's Trunks, which is literally Trunks.
Trunks, yeah.
And then Bra. Don't they have Trunks and Bra? So they have clothes as their kids. Yeah, Bra is their daughter, and Trunks is their son, I believe, right?
Oh.
Yeah. So I think there's a clothing theme with them.
I see.
Bulma, I don't know what Bulma... Oh, Bulma's Bloomers. It's like pants.
Bloomer.
Yeah. And then isn't her dad's name something too? Professor or Dr.
Shoot. I don't
Maybe
remember.
he's Dr. Bloomer. So I don't remember what it is, but anyways, they all have a theme. You're right to the vegetable thing, but they all have a theme, right? Even the little cat's name is like Oolong, and then there's another type of tea. Yeah. I don't know my teas.
Pu'er.
Yeah, Pu'er and Oolong, right? So there's like tea there, right? And then who cares?
It's like lunch.
Okay, well there you go. Anyways, you're right. They all have a theme. Moving on. Names are cool in anime.
Names are cool. Great. Well, sidetrack really well.
Yeah. I'm bad at it.
Anyway, so this scene was just a very emotional scene, but it also revealed something important to all the viewers. So it was just it's a very, I would say it's a pretty iconic scene when it comes to the show. In like the first third of where the series is now. So like in the early stages. Yeah, like I still want to watch it like all the time.
And it's written in forever. The katakana.
Nihongo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is katakana correct? Can I at least sound cool?
No.
The lettering is not called katakana?
You're close.
What is katakana then? To the audience at home.
So
it's not a sword.
It's no, that's katana.
Oh, okay.
So katakana is.
Oh, it's katakana.
Katakana.
Katakana. Yeah, I'm learning.
So there's hiragana, which is what's written here. There's hiragana.
That sounds like
and kanji. It's
kanji,
not the soup.
Okay.
Yeah. And then katakana. So they're just I'm not sure if I can really speak to like the exact history of why they have all these three, but I know that katakana when I see katakana, it's more used for words that are adapted from other at least Western. Like a taxi cab would be written in katakana and it'd be pronounced takushi.
So you wouldn't say modernized, but you'd say like imported almost? Or
yeah.
Like, okay.
Sure.
Okay.
I think
like because like
fair,
text would be a new word, but is that Westernized?
Text?
Text was more global, wasn't it? Like text is a word that came out of, or maybe not text itself, but like I text you, like as a verb.
Okay.
Like came out more modern, right? That's more like nowadays.
To use it as a
But is
verb,
that a Western verb or is that more of a global verb? Because phones, I believe, kind of advance together.
Well, I guess if you're talking about text, I think text has always been known to be
right.
Like,
That's what I mean.
words,
you describing text as a verb. I'm assuming in Japan they would still say like I'm going to text you, but they would say it in some kind of thing. Would that be katakana, or would that be
SU? I'm not really sure. You know what? That's a good question.
And if it's a photo, it's an emu isu.
I should ask my Japanese friends.
Interesting.
One of them must know.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the ye old news.
Cool.
Let's move on.
All right.
Question of the day.
Ye new news?
Ye knew it.
Okay.
Question of the day.
Okay.
For this one, we never done this.
Okay.
So what I want to do is at the beginning of most of our podcasts, we'll probably right after the intro or something, before ye old news, we'll answer whatever the question was of the day. So you and I together right now, we have to come up with a question for the audience.
Okay.
So we have to decide on something we care about. Yeah, whatever, I don't know what we care about, but whatever we come together and decide that we want to know from the audience. So what's something that we care about? Or what's something we want to know from them?
Wait, so we're asking them.
Yeah.
And they're going to answer us.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then on next time we'll find our favorite one or whatever, and we'll talk about it next time, next podcast.
So, and it has to be something that we feel is important to us.
It could be anything. I could literally be like,
who do you want to see in the Spider-Man multiverse?
Or I could say,
what do you think about the word katakana?
But we have to both agree. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Should we just use either of those two since they seem?
I think the Spider-Verse one is actually kind of legit.
Okay.
What's the most? How about this as a question? What do you think about this? What's the most? What's the coolest thing you would like to see as a crossover in Spider-Man multiverse? In the Spider-Man multiverse. Yeah.
Yeah.
What would be the coolest thing to see cross into Peter Parker's life?
Wow, I feel like you have so many answers for that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That leaves it open, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Done.
Done.
That's the question of the
Gavel.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to actually hit that because I didn't want the audio to go like that. But okay, small topic.
Small topic.
Small topic.
Right.
Anth0z, what is the small topic?
So, okay, what I'm thinking is has to do with just like the use of streaming services nowadays.
Okay.
So, for example, we have Netflix. There's I guess Amazon has their own
Crackle,
part of like Prime,
Hulu.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Crave TV. I mean, like even broadcasting networks that weren't originally streaming
HBO
services
GO.
now, like HBO.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? So my question is
Amazon. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
What do you think of what route do you think streaming service is going to take in terms of
route?
Like how I'm not really sure how to word this, but basically, what do you think is going to come out of all these streaming services, coming out now, and then how is that going to affect the household, like broadcasting, like off regular cable and satellite?
I think the first answer that I think most people want to say, and I also want to say, is that cable TV will die off. I think it's the first thing that people want to say. Yeah. But I also look to radio, and I say radio's still a thing.
Yeah.
Right? So because radio's still a thing, it makes me think cable TV will never die off. But I don't know. That's interesting, right? But cable TV works very similar to a radio. Yeah. Like an open broadcasting kind of space. There's networks that own it currently, and then I don't exactly know how cable works, but you pay the network to then have the space on the network and go on there, right? Yeah. And then as you mentioned, the networks are now having their own streaming services and probably moving their platform over there. Does that mean that cable TV is now going to have more open space for people to freely broadcast, or have, as radio works now, like maybe there's going to be more local stations, I guess, onto cable TV? Right. So that's an answer to cable TV, which you didn't even ask me, but that's thanks. That's where I took that question. Yeah. But what do I think will happen there with streaming services? I believe we're going to get a lot of streaming services. I think you can look to many other things to see how this will probably turn out. You can look to apps. Remember when apps first came out? There was a few that were like the big ones. Let's say you would use Facebook, You play Angry Birds. You know, like they're like back in let's talk about like 2008 maybe 2007 2008 when you got a smartphone, probably like one of your first.
Sure.
And the apps you would download, you would get at that time. I know I downloaded like YouTube. I got Facebook. I got Angry Birds. And then I didn't have much else to really download. I don't think I had Twitter or anything like that.
I think I just downloaded chess.
Yeah, okay, yeah, or a generic chess, right?
Yeah.
But the App Store wasn't really convoluted yet. It wasn't crazy. It wasn't gigantic. It wasn't full of just mess crap apps that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
I feel like we could see that with streaming services, maybe not to that extent, because apps are a lot easier to make than a full-on streaming service.
Yeah.
But we could see that with all the networks, right? We might see like, instead of Warner Brothers being like, hey, Netflix, here's all our Warner Brothers movies and we'll sign a contract and blah, blah, blah. They're going to be like, hey, why don't we make our own streaming service?
Well, that's kind of what's happening
of course.
with like
Disney.
Netflix, right? And Disney.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're going to be pulling, all of their Marvel movies because they're all...
And they might make
Disney.
They might make a much better profit, and I actually do think that movie theaters might suffer a little bit from this too, because I was talking about this with a friend. And I think that Disney movies, there could be a thing where maybe they pull them from all movie theaters, even though that's really the only thing we see in movie theaters these days is Disney movies. But I feel like what is the cost of getting your movie into a movie theater and having to worry about, I actually don't really know what it entails, but whatever that cost is of getting your movie into a movie theater, having people come and see it there.
Yeah.
And whatever that cost is, what if you just totally delete that? You have your own service that's you to the person directly. So you have your Disney streaming service now. And then when your movie comes out, you charge the ticket price there. Yeah. The person buys it. Now they are able to watch that movie early. But also maybe there's a monthly subscription or something where they're able to watch all your previous Disney movies. But for the release of this movie, for the first month or so, you have to pay the $10, $15, $20 to watch that movie right then and there.
Right.
Like, are they going to make more doing that than they would at the movie theater? I don't know. I have no idea, because I don't really know how much... I know there's box office numbers and all that, but then there's also the marketing and the advertising that has to go into putting it into the movie theater.
Yeah.
If you're just doing a direct one-to-one relationship with the person, you are cutting out a lot of marketing costs and probably bringing in quite a bit of revenue on your monthly costs with a customer, as well as whatever additional costs you get on ticket price for that movie individually. Right. So is that something Disney will do? Maybe. I have no idea. But what I was trying to get to, I guess, with the convoluted apps part of this. Yep. So this is a very interesting question. Thank you. Is that I believe that we will most likely come to a place where we now have too many streaming services. We're already kind of there.
Sure.
It's easy for us to complain right now. If we see it now, that means in 5 years it's going to be even worse, I think. Like, we'll have so many that we're just like, this is a clear issue. Yeah. And then we get to the point where it starts to conglomerate a little bit better. Remember when there was Instagram and it was separate from Facebook, and then Facebook buys Instagram. Yeah, I think even Twitter is owned by like someone now. Or no, that's not true. I think Twitter bought something. I want to say Snapchat.
I was gonna say Snapchat is associated with
something like that. Yeah. And it was purchased, right? So they start to the conglomerates start eating them up, right?
Right.
So I feel like that could happen with the streaming services, as Netflix is doing right now. They were kind of like aggregating all of their networks that they could, or their different movie companies.
Right.
I could see that happening with streaming services. What if Netflix is now just suddenly like, they couldn't do it to Disney, but let's say Warner Brothers did make their own. Yeah. And then Netflix came down the line and was like, you know what, Warner Brothers, let's just buy you out and then take their streaming service away. And then they aggregate that as well. Yeah. I could see that eventually happening, where they start eating each other, right? Yeah. This is how everything is going.
Anything business-like.
If you take it back to even like the VHS movie store, the rental stores, that's what they would do to each other, right? Like they started as just like local VHS movie rental stores, and they would just like kind of compete with each other and have the same VHSs they would sell, and then Blockbuster would come out, and now they're suddenly like boom, 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 like eating each other, right? And then Blockbuster would open here, then Blockbuster would open there, and it would open there and there and there, and it was such a good service that people used it so much that they would get rid of these local VHS stores. Yeah. So I feel like you look to other services and you see exactly what will happen with streaming services. Yeah. I think. Okay. That's my answer generically. How do you feel about that?
Wow. Well, okay. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't really think about too, just going towards like the whole movie route. And then, the conglomerate thing, that makes a lot of sense, because like I feel, if you see success in one place and you feel like it could be, if there's a competitor that you see as being successful, but you feel like that's your opportunity to be successful yourself by buying them out, right? Using their service to your advantage, like that seems like it's very, very doable, very likely to happen. I guess what I'm curious now is what was that like internet law that came out recently, or not recently, but within the past couple of years, and I think it just had to do with streaming, like you pay per like app that you use. So I think it's in Mexico or somewhere. I forgot what the term is called. But
to me.
So it's, from what I understand, I need to look into this more, but from what I understand, basically there will be like a set of apps that you would pay like a certain rate for per data used. But that would be different from like a different set of apps. So for example, like social media would be on one rate. Maybe like other apps like video games, like mobile app games would be like another like data rate, and then whatever else is left, and those would be on different rates. Whereas right now we just pay like per data. It's just like a flat rate kind of thing. So what I'm thinking is I wonder if streaming services could get to that point where, I mean, if everything is literally streaming, like there is no more cable and satellite, like what you said, like it's likely, or maybe people are saying right now, like that's what we think is going to happen, that cable could just die out. That once we have like only streaming services around, then how are those going to be like marketed towards people? How is everything going to be accessible to them? Like, is that going to change? Like, I'm really just interested to know like what are the additional implications by the fact that streaming services are just being so much more accessible to everybody. Even though, like, yeah, like you said, like radio is still around, cable is still around. It could be for a while. I think just because like they know, or like broadcasters know that they still have a demographic to cater to, right? Because like my parents, so they're 80s and also they're 60s, and they are not capable. Well, actually my dad, so he's the older one, and he's capable of figuring out like streaming service, so he can get on Netflix and watch their stuff. Yeah. But my mom, she's just not tech savvy, and I don't know if that's necessarily because of her age, or because like the lack of effort to try to actually figure things out. Because I mean, like I've tried to teach her, but either way, like I'm sure that some of my other friends, like their parents or maybe like their grandparents, like they wouldn't be able to figure out the streaming service as well, and so they just stick with TV just because it's like it's already so convenient. But then that's only going to last so much longer, right? Yeah, just really curious to know like how.
Could be a generational thing. You might be clinging to something there. There might be a generational thing. You see the people that read the newspaper still. Yeah. They don't like to get their news from the internet.
Yeah, my mom actually still reads the newspaper.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, and that's probably more of a generational thing. You feel familiar to how you access the news. Yeah. And I guess my quick answer is as long as. As far as the cable part goes, as long as we still have newspapers, as long as we still have radio, we'll still have cable, I think.
Yeah, I think that I'm really curious now. I actually want to know like how long cable will even last. I didn't even think about it when you brought up the radio thing. That's such a good point.
Well, I bet you radio. I mean, and I'm not a scholar in any of this, but I bet you radio was a lot more like how we see cable TV. At one point, you know, with the ads, like, try chewy finger chicken. Couldn't think of any other ad, you know. Halls, there we go, Dove soap for men. I feel like there was a lot more of that back then. These days, the radio is just a lot more of like a DJ or a local radio station that you crank in when you get to a town or something on a road trip. Right. So so I feel like cable TV will be less how we see it now and more like how we see radio right now.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fair. But yeah, that doesn't really answer streaming, but. The streaming thing is kind of a mixed bag, but I would say look to other services, see how they've gone in the past. That's how I assume streaming will go in the future. So cool. What we saw with apps, maybe we'll see with streaming services. Okay. Or Disney will just win. Maybe Disney will have a streaming service, and also every movie you see at the movie theater will be Disney.
Wow, can you imagine every Cineplex is actually a Disney Cineplex?
It's not far off from what we have right now. Think about the movie theater right now. Disney. It'll be Star Wars, it'll be Marvel, or it'll be a Disney movie, like a Disney Pixar, or something, or a Disney like Frozen. You get Disney film.
And then we've got all these independent movie theaters that are trying to play the non-Disney movies.
Yeah, which I'm fine.
Gives them rise to do something.
I don't know if it's good or bad, because the thing is I like the Disney movies. Yeah. I like most of the Disney movies they put out. Maybe not all, definitely not all, but I like most of the content they produce. Right. Even though I know Disney doesn't necessarily have a say in it; they just have their roadmap. Right. But I like most of what they produce, so it's kind of interesting. But I don't like a monopoly in any situation. I would much rather have two competing companies that are striving for the best, and then you have, like, you know how DC is right now, and you know how and you know how DC is just like what it is, terrible, and then you have Marvel like what it is, winning. Yep. Yep. And I don't, as much as I love Marvel movies, I really don't want DC to fail in any way. I want them to succeed. When Wonder Woman came out and I saw it, I liked it. I didn't think it was like the best movie I've ever seen, but I thought it was decent, and I thought that here is a turnaround for DC to start moving in that way. Right. And that was good because it kind of keeps Marvel on their toes. And I know Marvel hasn't shown any signs of fatigue yet, but as soon as they do, or as soon as DC starts cranking it up, Marvel's going to go, what do we do? What do we do? Right? And they're going to have to come up with some really good content. Even though they've They've been doing great so far, so I can't fault them on it yet.
Yeah.
But as soon as Marvel starts to get lazy, as soon as Marvel starts to really show fatigue, then I'm going to be hoping that the other guys are doing much better to keep them on their toes.
But I wonder when that's even going to happen. They've got this huge roadmap for like how much longer they're going to be pushing out these movies.
I don't know. Captain Marvel's going to be a big portion of that, I think, because Captain Marvel really shows the new side of where they're going.
And would that be part of Phase 2?
I think it's Phase 4. No, Captain Marvel, I believe, is the beginning of Phase 4.
Phase 4?
Yeah, we're in Phase 3 right now.
Are we?
Yeah, I feel like we just finished Phase 3 with Infinity War. So Phase 4 starts off with Captain Marvel, I believe.
Oh, I see.
Actually, Ant-Man might even have been... No, I think Ant-Man was the end of Phase 3. Ant-Man 2?
Okay.
Ant-Man and the Wasp or whatever. I believe that's the end of Phase 3, and then Phase 4 begins with Captain Marvel, because I think we're now getting into the cosmic... cosmic universe, cosmic arc and universe and all that, and we're moving away from the grounded Captain America storyline that we've been so used to, right? Yeah, which is a shame because I love Captain America and I want to see tens of billions of Captain America movies, but I just don't think we're going to see that more. I think we're going to see a lot more Captain Marvel replacing Captain America in most of those kind of iconic situations where it was a leadership figure. I feel like most of the characters will be looking up towards Captain Marvel instead of Tony or Captain America. Yeah, but I wonder how long that's going to last for, because I mean, like, well, once we get to Captain Marvel and then Phase 4, I'm assuming they're going to have to bring in new actors and actresses for like those leadership roles, right? Because like by then, like the current actors, they're going to be, I don't know if they're going to still be involved because they're going to be a lot older. I think we'll see Robert Downey Jr. as cameos, like with the Spider-Man film. I think we'll see similar things to that. Yeah. If that. I think we'll do that. I don't think we'll see much more of Steve Rogers. I think his storyline, as much as I don't want it to happen, I'm assuming his storyline is probably going to end soon. Either with a death or with him walking away kind of thing. Right. We might see side characters continue on. Bucky is a really good candidate to stay on as a role for the next series to come. Yeah. I think Bucky and and Falcon, I think would have been like both contenders, right? Because I agree. It was like Falcon he did pull like the Captain America Monarch. I believe. I think they both did. I believe Bucky did as well. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think there's a storyline where Bucky takes on the role of Captain America while Captain America's still frozen. Oh, I think that's one of the storylines. Okay, that's something that I'd definitely like to read more. I was trying to read. Not much of a comic book connoisseur or even reader, I should just say, but I have heard that's one of the storylines at least. Okay, yeah, I think. Like I tried to read so many of the Marvel arcs and series, but then I would get interested by the movie that's come out at the time, so I tried to read all about that. So I've been reading all of, like, anything related to Thanos is what I'm reading right now. Thanos. Yeah. I say Thanos. Is it? I say it very Canadian, like Thanos. Maybe it's the moment where Thanos. I love how he says daughter. I can't do his impersonation, but the way he says daughter is like, it's so like, it sounds like New Yorker or something. Daughter. The way daughter. Like I can't. No. It's. That's the problem. I can't do it. But listen to the way he says daughter, because I say daughter. Yeah. Like you're dawdling almost, which is terrible. I think he says like daughter. Like no, I can't do it. But like I love the way he says it though. And when I hear that accent, I was like, I want the Thanos accent. I could be wrong, but I feel like it's sort of a New Yorker twang. I don't know. I have no idea, but I like it. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Is that it? Are you done your topic? There's a floaty? There's a fruit fly in my... Oh, you know what's funny? I saw him flying around. Oh, okay. I saw him flying around too, but I didn't want to clap. Oh, I didn't want to squish him. Well, didn't squish him. Well, thanks for helping me. I'm sorry. That's okay. If I killed him, that would have been blasphemy. Would it have been? No, not at all. Anyway, fly lives don't matter. Fly lives don't matter. It's alcohol, so I think it's gonna... Alcohol makes a big man small, and it leads to a life of crime. There's nutrients in here. Okay, good. Protein. Great. Okay, so nice little break. We're going to move on to a game called Game Spinner. All right. So I'm not sure if we have a theme, but can you just record that and use that? Yeah, I mean, we don't have any themes right now. We're just freeballing it, you know? Are we spinning your phone? You have to roll the die. Oh, okay. So here, let me explain it a little bit before you roll. Okay. Roll the dice. Roll the what? It's just roll the dice. Oh, yeah, see, I misspelled it on Google. Yeah, just so you know, everybody at home, we did not have a dice because I forgot it. Or a die, I should say, for singular dice. Yeah. For one die, I didn't bring one. Yes. So we're using Google. So just so you know at home, you can type in roll the dice, or what I said was roll the dice. You could roll the dice, and Google will know that. Google knows. They put a virtual die on the screen. Anyways, we're going to play a game called the Game Spinner. So this is something we've invented, and I have no idea how it's going to go, but we'll just try. Okay. So what happens is there's 6 games, 6 die sides, and each game correlates to the side of the die. Imagine that.
Okay.
So as soon as Anth0z rolls the dice, we will die. Then we
We will die?
He'll get one of these.
I'm not gonna roll this.
Oh, this is going so nicely. I can explain things very well. I even wrote a nice script for this. Okay, so there's 6 games. Let me read them out. There's a pirate adventure game. Okay. So the pirate adventure is you get to go on a nice swashbuckling adventure. Okay.
Great.
Next one is Shakespeare in a Bar. Shakespeare in a Bar is a very interesting game where we're going to be taking the role on of Shakespearean characters.
Okay.
3 is Sing Along, which is pirate karaoke.
Okay.
So we'll get into that. 4 would be A Hunting Tale.
Would pirate karaoke be like parlayoke?
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
Parlayoke. Parlay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. A Hunting Tale would be. This would be if we have to tell each other a scary story. Yeah, okay. You have to roll a dice or a die, okay. And then it decides who does the scary story. The other person gets to say one word that is either the theme or that word has to be repeated in the story.
Okay.
So number 5 would be Impress the Governor's Daughter. This one's an interesting one. It's trivia. Okay. I wrote down trivia questions actually from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So
great.
And 6 would be Swashbuckler. It's a we have to show our true pirate fighting skills through wit. So this is going to be an interesting game where we're versus each other. Okay. And we're going to have to go, and it's winner takes all.
Like
right?
I'm going to lose all of these games.
It's a fight to the death.
All right.
So here we go. Anth0z, you may spin the die.
Tap. Oh, it didn't work.
Tap,
tap, rolling.
Tapping on heaven's door.
5.
Ooh, you got Impress the Governor's Daughter.
Great. So this is the one where we've got questions from Who Wants to Be
a Millionaire.
A millionaire.
A millionaire. Millionaire. I like that better. That's even better. Yar. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to play some music while getting this ready.
It's Avengers of the Pirates. No, Avengers of the Caribbean.
Okay. You know, I just got reminded, you can't look at the screen.
Oh!
So don't look at the screen.
All right, bye.
So yeah, you're going to look that way.
I'm going to look at my free
because the screen is going to show all the answers, because I just realized right now I have all the answers on the screen. So, yar! Anth0z, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yar! Okay, just so you're aware, the first question is a $100 question on Millionaire, which is the very first segment, just so you know. So it's the easiest question.
Are these multiple choice? Like
they are.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they're all multiple choice. Here we go. Very first question. Starting it off. Ironically, Looney Tunes creator Mel Blanc was allergic to which of these vegetables? A. Broccoli. B. Carrots. C. Eggplants. Or D. Onions.
Onions?
Okay,
so just because you're saying ironically, I'm going to have to go with carrots?
The answer is B. Carrots.
Oh, okay.
During the recording of Bugs Bunny's lines, he had a very short window to chew the carrots and speak the next line. But because he was actually allergic to the carrots, he couldn't swallow them. So he would spit them into a wastebasket right next to him.
Oh, what? But then so if he's allergic, he can still have it in his mouth?
I guess so. That's what it says in the thing. So he would chew it and spit it, I guess.
Wow.
I don't know.
Good for him.
All right. Question number 2. Which insect inspired the term computer bug? Was it A, a moth, B, a cockroach, C, a fly, or D, a beetle?
What? How am I supposed to know this?
I didn't know it either. So this is for like $500 a Millionaire, just so you know. You could have $600 if you get this right.
Oh, wow, this game is going to end really quickly. So inspired the computer bug.
Computer bug, yeah. Which insect inspired the term computer bug? Bug. I'm a bug.
I'm just going to go with beetle.
Beetle.
I guess. So I think that was D?
Is that your final answer?
Am I allowed to say that? Don't they get to like a certain point?
No, I think they just literally ask and then the person says your final answer.
Wait, sorry, what are my 4 choices again? So there's a fly.
It was A, moth. B, cockroach. C, fly. Or D, the beetle.
Fly. Wait, computer bug.
Computer bug.
Computer bug. Oh.
Which insect inspired the term computer bug?
The more you say it, the easier it does not get. Okay, well, okay. There must be some sort of like connection
to a bug.
To a bug. Okay, I will go with fly.
Is that your final answer?
Okay, yes, fine. Should I have gone with beetle? Oh, that look.
They were both wrong.
Okay.
The answer I was looking for was moth. Apparently, in 1947, a moth found its way into the innards of a Mark II, an early computer then called a relay calculator, and it was hardly a computer at that time, and it shorted out the computer. A moth.
Can you imagine if Iron Man had a moth fly into his Mark II?
He had an ant.
Yeah, but it wasn't a moth.
You're right. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next one, anyways, just because I want you to do all three. So, last one here.
There's only 3. Oh, okay.
There's only 3. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So here's the last one.
Yep.
Hold on, I have to know how to pronounce this. Neph-elo-kakuzia. Yeah. Neph-elo-kakuzia is the practice of doing what? Neph-elo-kakuzia. Neph-elo-kakuzia
What?
is the practice of doing what?
Do I get options?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, here's your options. You just had to hear the song.
Okay.
Made it better. Okay, A, finding shapes in clouds. B, sleeping with your eyes open. C, breaking glass with your voice. Or D, swimming in freezing water. Neph-elo-kakuzia.
That's one word, right?
Neph-elo-kakuzia.
Can you spell it?
Neph-elo-coccyygia. If you look at the screen, you can see it.
Okay.
Neph-elo-kakuzia.
I feel like this is coccygia or something.
It does, but I looked at the pronunciation.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yeah,
Neph-elo-kakuzia.
because it's like super Latin.
Okay. So those clouds.
Even if it's coccygia, that's probably fine, but I would say kakuzia is a little bit easier for you, maybe.
Okay, so
Maybe not.
clouds, glass breaking from voice. What else was there? See, this is really difficult because I don't get to see the words in front of me, and I can't like.
Okay, first one was finding shapes in clouds.
Okay. Yep.
B was sleeping with your eyes open.
Yep.
C was breaking glass with your voice.
Yep.
And D was swimming in freezing water.
Okay, clouds.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
That is correct.
Oh.
All right, and now I'm going to explain it. So
Cool.
apparently, the word comes from the play The Birds by the Greek playwright Aristophanes.
Okay.
Aristophanes, the
Yeah.
great magical Mr. Aristophanes.
Great. Okay. Cool.
The act of seeking and finding shapes in the clouds. That is
Interesting.
what it was. And there's a footnote that says Cloud Cuckoo Land. And I believe what they're trying to say is Kakuzia. Like as in Cloud Cuckoo Land. And have you ever heard the term Cloud Cuckoo Land?
No, but I've heard it. No, I haven't heard it.
I believe it came up with
Krakozhia.
Oh.
From The Terminal.
Oh.
With Tom Hanks. There's
just-
a real
he just
life
sits-
terminal person right now.
What?
Did you see that?
No.
There's I think he's like a refugee from. Oh no, not refugee, but he was living in the United Arab Emirates, but then he was supposed to be drafted to war, and he said no, like I don't want to be part of this war and like because I don't want to kill innocents, whether they're on like my country or for another country.
Okay.
And so instead of being drafted into the war, he actually flew. I think. Oh, where did he? I think. Well, actually, he's in the terminal for United Arab Emirates. But anyway, so he's been living in this terminal for, I think, 6 months or something like that.
They don't kick him out.
Maybe even longer than that. And now he's. I think he applied. He finally got a chance to like apply to maybe leave there and go to Canada. The reason why he couldn't get out was because his passport expired once he was already there. So I don't know how he got all these things, but he's been eating the same meal every day at the airport. He's been sleeping like under this escalator on one of those like blow up like little pads, like a camping pad. He doesn't have proper showers because he just goes to the handicap bathroom and just like washes his face that way. And he's been living like that for this whole time.
Wow.
So hopefully his application to Canada will work so he can like come here. But supposedly
Where
it's
is he
gonna
now? Where is this place?
So I think it's the airport in the United Arab Emirates.
You did mention that.
I think if I'm saying that correctly. But anyway, so he
United
has to
Arab
wait
Emirates.
26 months for the permit or something to be approved. That means he's still got to wait there 26 months before he can come here. I feel like he's actually been there for more than 6 months now, but
So you
anyway.
got 20 more months to go, or 26 on top of the 6?
26 from like the point where I saw this video, I guess,
Grand
which
total
was
of 32
last
months
night.
there.
Yeah, and it could even be
a rough
longer.
time.
I don't know, but anyway,
Rough time in the airport. They're gonna make a
So-
sequel to that movie by that time. Tom Hanks is gonna have to work on his Arab accent.
Terminal 2,
Terminal 2.
the terminal.
Terminal illness.
Anyway, so cloud spotting or something.
Something about Cloud Cuckoo Land, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think it's in the Lego movie. I think it's one of the locations.
Okay.
I think the term Cloud Cuckoo Land is something to do with like Never Never Land, or like some place beyond the clouds where like people daydream, I guess. So
See, I was thinking because the
I think that's why it's Kakuzia. Is what I was getting at. Is that
Okay.
Kakuz was like the cloud?
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. I
was actually thinking. So the first part of that word, the Neph part, reminded me of
Neph.
like Nephilim.
Oh.
And I think Nephilim. That's like the term for what is it? Like a half human, half angel birth.
It's in
person?
Final Fantasy 15. Funny enough, Niflheim. Niflheim actually is in that one, so maybe not.
Okay.
But I wonder if they got that same term because it's like half human, half elf or something. I guess.
Yeah. So that's why I was thinking like Neph, Could, if it was related to that. Okay, so
Maybe.
clouds, maybe they were associating that with like heaven. And...
Might have been that you had a 25% chance and you scored correctly.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Although I lost the second question, so does
That's
that
true.
mean...
You didn't get the bug right. So,
Yeah.
anyways, you did pretty well. That was a
Cool.
pretty good game session. Good job, Anth0z.
Wait, are we ever gonna do a thing where like you have to roll the die?
No, that was it. You have to roll that.
No, I mean not today, but like other
Nope,
days.
never. I'm never answering any
So
questions at all. I had to set up the questions. That's half the battle right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna move on. I know I mentioned earlier that we were gonna be doing a second topic.
Sure.
But because of timing and whatnot, we're actually gonna move that on probably to next.
Cool.
Podcast. So,
All right.
we're actually gonna skip ahead. We're gonna go on to Pirate Treasure.
Ooh.
Here.
All right. Sorry.
So this is our reader mail section, and I think I've heard this same, not necessarily joke, but funny observation on every podcast.
Yeah.
That reader mail doesn't really make any sense at all because we don't have readers, we have like listeners, but listener mail doesn't sound very good, so people
Right.
don't really know what to call it. So I just like calling it Pirate Treasure.
But if we did call it something, that made sense.
We could call it like the pirate's loot bag or something. Loot bag's not bad. I don't know.
Sure.
Let's go with loot bag. No, it's
Loot bag.
I have no idea.
Okay.
But let's pose that to the audience as well.
What should we call it?
What should we call it? Because I have no idea.
Okay.
But if people have a suggestion, I'm all ears. Speaking of that, I actually have a pirate joke for you.
Okay.
What does a pirate say on his 80th birthday?
I don't know what.
Aye, matey. Not bad. I know. Didn't even make that up myself. I read it on Google. Okay. Reader mail, or pirate treasure, or loot bag. Here's our first question.
Okay.
These questions are from our significant others because
Okay.
we're that cool.
Great.
It's like getting a question from your mom on your podcast.
Or better, or worse.
Or better,
I guess
or
it
worse, or the
depends
same.
on who you are.
I'm not ashamed by it.
Cool.
So here we go. First question: what made you start this podcast? I'll pose that to you first.
You made me start this.
That's a good answer. That's a very good answer.
I'm tied down right now, and I'm just forced to answer these questions. I'm forced to talk. My mouth is getting dry. You're not letting me drink my fruit fly beer.
That's true. I haven't let you drink it since there's been a fly in it. I don't want it to die.
So
I don't want you to be a little old man who swallowed a fly. Perhaps I'll die.
Are you rhyming?
It's a song. It's a nursery rhyme.
What did you
The
say?
little old woman who swallowed a fly, I think. Or I knew an old woman who swallowed a fly. Perhaps she'll die.
Oh yeah. Right.
Jeez, catch up, sir.
Okay. I will.
Okay, so the podcast.
So
Why'd you start this podcast?
why did I start this podcast?
No, but let me pose that in a way that makes sense to you though.
Sure.
What makes you want to be on this podcast with the great and wonderful Mattbrush?
The brush of Matt.
The brush of Matt. The brushiest.
Matt, host of
Get
Brush.
your foot there.
It was for that reason, so we could play footsies.
Good. I like it. I enjoy it.
Well, I think when you first brought it up to me,
Months ago.
Had we already been like deep in some sort of conversation?
Yes.
And probably right. And
We sat down to have one beer.
yeah.
We had 4.
No. But that was when we came to like hash out the idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's true.
But then before that, you posed the idea to me.
Maybe I did.
And I feel like in the midst of it, like it was from recently having some sort of like debate or conversation about something. Like we were in like a deep discussion.
Yeah.
And then
I do like those.
yeah. So, and like every time we get together, we'll talk about something. And it doesn't. It's like anything. I think this podcast is kind of like a tribute to. We'll attribute to what we are when we're not on the podcast.
True.
Which is that we'll talk about one thing and we'll segue to 7,000 other things.
Exactly. I think
And
it's
then
been a
we'll
good example.
probably
Of that.
find our way back.
Yeah.
To the original topic,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
So we can try to answer that. But anyway, I always enjoyed having this kind of conversation, still do.
Mhm.
And what I like about, well, actually now that we have this opportunity with the podcast, is that I'll be able to listen to our conversation afterwards.
Yes.
And look back on the kind of things that we did talk about and say like, oh, you know what? I want to know more about this. So for me, it's a fun time for us to just like hang out and, talk and banter and just like do our thing. Like we're not really adding any kind of like extra pressure to it. We're still just hanging out.
Right.
But then now I get like the added, it's like the bonus of being able to learn more, because like the more we talk about topics that we're, like we may not be as familiar with, but we're giving each of our opinions on, we get to learn so much more. So it's kind of like, it's like a fun development time. Self-development. I don't know. It's just, it just sounded like a really fun idea, and I like it. And I like you.
Aww. Yeah. I agree with that entirely. I everything you said there, golden. I agree with that. I really like what you said about us listening to our own podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very important part of this, is that as much as I would love other people to listen to this and to enjoy it and take from it what they will and get something out of it to make their day a little bit brighter, or even maybe just an idea that makes them think about something a little bit more. Yeah. Because that's what I personally get out of podcasts. Even if they don't get that, I at least have this as an outlet for us to talk, voice our opinions, and then like you said, listen to it later on and be like, okay, there's my stance on something. Like, that's how I feel about something. And that's mainly why I want to start the whole podcast, is I really enjoy these deep conversations, and I would have them with you mostly, and these deep intellectual, well, maybe intellectual conversations, semi-intellectual conversations that are deep and long and have layers. Okay. And they and usually they're about media, but sometimes they delve into other topics, but usually they're media in some form: video games, pop culture, movies, TV shows, whatever it is. And I felt like I was having that quite a bit with you, and I think that one time when we drank and talked, and it got so
we went everywhere. Are you talking about like
so varied?
We were talking like
this is that Elephant and Castle.
Yeah.
It was so varied.
We were talking about like comparing Infinity War versus Black Panther. And
It was very diverse and very intense, and really enjoyed it. And I was just like, I want more of this, but I wanted like almost an excuse to bring us back to doing it more and more and more. And I was like, people can probably get something out of this. And if they disagree, I would love to hear that too. Because that's something. I want to bring it. So with you, is that you and I do agree and disagree quite a bit. That's what I love. And I don't want people to be afraid of this. I want people to disagree. It's a good thing. Because it challenges your own opinion. And if you're honest with yourself, then you actually look at your own opinion and go, oh, I might be wrong, and you might change it. Or it invigorates your opinion, and you think, hey, I actually have something important to say, and this is evidence now that this is even more important, because as I push this up and you're pushing back, we're still finding this like middle ground that we can agree on, right? And I really enjoy that. I think conversation is very important. I think we should be able to debate, we should be able to disagree, and still have a good time. And I've always had that with you, so that's why I personally wanted you to be my co-host on this. But also, this is just a hell of a lot of fun. I just want to do it. So
I'm having fun.
Yeah. And Scumm Bar, I mean, yes.
Scumm Bar.
The Scumm Bar.
Yeah. Actually, well, on that note, so I'm really interested in reading what our listeners would have to say, like in comments.
It's just my mom. It'll just be my mom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
but her opinion's good. So
great. I mean, you came from her, so I'm assuming that. Well, it's gonna be 2 against 1. That's okay. Yeah, I can do it.
Her and I don't agree on everything, so. Okay. First question, I think we tackled that.
Cool.
Yep. What made you start this podcast? I'd say that.
Great.
I'd say that. And I actually, on that note, this is a good platform to say that the podcast could change over time.
Definitely.
It easily could mold and find its voice.
Yep.
This is just how we've seen it.
Voice.
I think this is a good structure for now. I think we've got a good structure that seems to allow us both to talk about many different things. I think that intro was a good example of that. We went way off script, which is great. Yep. I love that. That's what I want. I want us to be in uncharted waters.
We're going to take our listeners for a ride.
A pun. Moving on. Question 2.
Okay.
What is your favorite childhood memory?
Oh, okay. I have...
And I'm going to think about mine as you're talking.
Okay, this is going to be tricky, but off the top of my head, so in elementary school, I was pretty much known for being the like McDonald's kid.
Why?
Well, so okay, my grandma would bring me McDonald's for lunch maybe like 3 times a week, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm not kidding. Like she would bring it so often.
To school?
Oh, sorry, yeah. She would bring it to me like at school, so that would be my lunch at school.
Oh, wow.
During elementary school. And I'm pretty sure, I was just known as like the kid who had McDonald's all the time.
Wow.
So
I probably would call you that too, because I'd be jealous.
But for some reason, like I didn't get too unhealthy, I guess that I can think of. I mean, I never really got fat.
Yeah, but I mean, if you keep an active lifestyle, I'm sure you'd be fine.
Yeah, I was a kid. I ran around all the time.
It's just fat. I mean, it's just fat and more fat in that stuff. Trans fats and all that stuff, and lots of sugar.
Yeah.
Lots of sugar, lots of trans fats. That's about all. Yeah. But if you're a kid and you're running around, you're probably fine. Just brush your teeth and go to bed,
Yeah, right away.
Yeah. Yeah, right away. Right afterwards.
Yeah.
Immediately, that's the trick to McDonald's. Still do it today. Still holds up.
Yeah. But anyway, so it's probably, I could say like it does appear in like my top like favorite childhood memories. Not just because of like the whole McDonald's aspect, but just it was something that I had with my grandma. Okay. And so it was just like a really nice memory that I have of her. Like, it's very her. Like she's the kind of person who would make sure like everybody always has enough food. So on that note,
that's really sweet.
When she did bring me McDonald's, I'm pretty sure she would actually have extra food for like some of the other kids that she knew would like
No way.
McDonald's too. So like she
Wow.
might have like an extra burger or something, extra fries.
Would you like some fries with that?
So-
Now that is off the boat. That is off TB. No, what is it?
Fob?
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
It's fob, but that's why I was
no
wrong.
idea what you're trying
I was trying to say fob is what I was trying
Yeah.
to say. Go ahead.
So that's it.
Well, I really enjoyed that story. That's actually very cute.
Thank you.
Yeah,
My grandma was cute.
I like that. I can really see that. My story is nothing like that at all. I wish I had a good story, but I couldn't really think of much. So I'm going to think about this story,
Okay.
which is, I wouldn't say it's like my most cherished childhood memory, but it's a good childhood memory, so I'll bring it up.
Okay.
My friends and I, we used to go down to this little quarry. Call it a quarry, but it's probably not a quarry at all. I actually don't know the definition of a quarry. This was like a dam. So this was like a dam that went into like a sewer drain at the bottom by the beach.
Okay.
So from our school, we could go to a little area that was like a dam that would go down through a forest and go down to where a sewer pipe was.
Okay.
And it would shoot out into the ocean. And we would go down there, and there was this thing we called the mud wall.
Yeah.
Or the clay wall, I think we called it. And we would climb this clay wall. It was really steep, and you get all the way up to the top, and you'd sit, and we made little chairs for us, and we'd sit in the clay wall. And we'd like play games, and you could like tumble down the clay wall. And I wouldn't say it's dangerous, but it was like, it's just kid stuff.
Yeah.
You just do this as kids. But you probably could have hurt yourself. I mean, I'm sure there was many things that we could have hurt ourselves.
Yeah.
But again, we're kids, so we didn't really care. And we had sticks. I mean, we always have a stick when you're a kid. Like
Rolling
you're
with sticks.
attached with your stick. You always got that because you'd fight things right on the way. There'd always be monsters, and you have to fight them.
Always.
Always be there be monsters.
Yeah.
And so they're on the maps, on the pirate maps.
That always be monsters?
Yeah, here there be dragons or whatnot on the pirate maps. When there was an area in the waters where they hadn't actually explored or ventured yet.
Okay.
So if you didn't know where the Western world was at the time, there'd be like a little image of a dragon. It said, "Here there be dragons," or "Here there be monsters."
There be dragons.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So that on the corners of maps, there used to always be dragons. So pirate trivia for you there.
Okay.
It's not even pirate trivia. That's just historical fact.
It sounds like, yeah, sounds trivia.
Anyways, so we go on the clay wall. We had our sticks, and everyone had their stick nicknames.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my buddy had his stick. It was called Slimy. Pretty sure my other friend had a stick. His
Sounds
name was...
like the worst
I know.
stick you could have.
My other friend had a stick. His name was Sticky.
Okay.
Awesome.
Doable.
Mine was named Strider
Ooh.
because I was really into Aragorn at the time. So I think this was like 2001, 2002 at the time, just to date it. Yeah, mine was called Strider, and it eventually snapped in half. I think I was like, we were maybe fighting or something on the second day or third day down at the clay wall, and it snapped. When it snapped, we had a funeral for the stick. We buried it. We had a funeral for it. I think I was the only one who really cared. I think they were just kind of egging me on. But
You're telling me you planted your stick.
I did. I planted the stick.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, it sounds dumb now, but it made so much sense at the time. I was like, well, now the stick
makes
is
sense.
gone, right? Yeah, and I buried it.
Yeah.
And we had a little funeral. No, it was sad. It was just like an honorable thing to do as kids. You know, you're full of honor at that
Yeah.
time.
Full of it. You only know honor as a
And
kid.
just that's kind of the closer of that whole memory. But just as one last little note to throw in there, it's really funny. My mom used to always have to do the laundry. She was a mom, and I was just a little kid. And by saying that, she did my laundry for my whole life, pretty much, actually. So it doesn't really matter if I was a kid or not.
Okay.
Regardless, she would do the laundry, and my jeans would have been like just full of clay. So just like totally full of clay. So if you want a good image of your head, just imagine my mom trying to get all this clay out and like trying to do the family laundry, and then my jeans are just full of clay. She'd be like, "Why? You know, why?" And me just wanting to be a kid, and that was it. So,
By the way, did you ever figure out how she got the clay out?
no, I have no idea. I haven't even asked her.
I feel like, okay, well,
I'm sure I'll find out now. But I've never asked her though.
because I'm thinking like that's something that you may need to know for the future. Like, if-
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
you
One
have
day I'm
kids
gonna have a
and-
kid.
Yeah.
They're gonna have clay on their jeans, and I'm gonna be like,
Yeah. And you're gonna be like, why?
I'm gonna be like, did you bury him at least?
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
Goodbye, Strider.
Okay. That's it. That's our show. So
Cool.
What thoughts on the show, people? I'm interested what the people think about this. If
Sure.
they have any thoughts or opinions. I don't always want opinions from the audience. I don't think that's like I want us to be able to kind of dictate how the show goes, but at the same time, if there's something glaringly obvious that people are like, well, your show could do better if you had this, or
Sure.
have you thought about blah? I'm always open to any kind of ideas or suggestions,
me
obviously.
too.
So I want to welcome the audience to give us some sort of opinion on what they think they would like to see more of in the show or less of, depending.
See more or hear more?
See more butts?
Yeah. Yep.
See more butts.
Okay.
Do you have anything you would like to say before we get into our closers?
Thanks for listening.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a closer.
I know what I'm doing.
No, I just mean, was there, because I'm about to end our conversation, so was there anything else you wanted to maybe add or say? Or is it okay if I just naturally go to the closer?
I feel like I'm obligated to say something. I just don't know what. Maybe that was what I needed to say.
Would anybody like a
peanut?
peanut?
I didn't know what to say.
There you go. Yeah, it was good. It was good. You did good.
Thanks.
Okay, so where can the audience find you then, or where would you find appropriate for the audience to find you? Do you have a place, or do you not feel like you want to do that? I have a spot at least on my Twitter. People can find me at, or my YouTube channel.
Okay.
So at Mattbrush Gaming on Twitter or Mattbrush Gaming on YouTube, you can find me there. Although there's like no content on my Twitter, and there's literally no content on my YouTube. It's just a channel. There was a video, I removed it. So I'm going to be putting this podcast up on there, so that will be coming later on YouTube as well. But there's nothing on there right now. But you can always comment on the channel, and you can find me there. Okay. So, but do you have any place or anything like that you would want people to find you at, or?
Sure.
If not, let me hold on. Let me just pose this: that people can email. They can email the Scumm Bar Podcast at gmail.com, and they can email any questions there if they would like to. If not, they can always comment on whatever podcast host they're using right now. If they're using iTunes Podcast, or they're using SoundCloud, or they're using YouTube, or if they're using what's another one, Podbean or Stitcher or any of those podcast areas, you can obviously comment on those and you can get us there. But if you're trying to contact us and you want to use email for whatever reason, you can always use the Scumm Bar Podcast at gmail.com. Anth0z, do you have a specific one you'd like people to email you at or contact you in some way? Or would you rather they just go through the Scumm Bar Podcast at gmail.com or YouTube or Stitcher or iTunes? I don't even know if we have it on Stitcher, but hopefully we do because I keep saying Stitcher. Stitcher.
You know what? I'm not entirely sure if I have anything that's kind of like
that's fine.
Optimized for.
If you don't, that's fine. They can still reach you because people, your voices are heard. Just go to the Scumm Bar Podcast gmail.com or Scumm Bar Podcast on YouTube. Comments and reviews are great for us. Obviously, comments are awesome so we can see what's going on, but reviews are better because they also get us up in the polls or the ratings, which is, I know that sounds petty, but what it means is really for more people to be able to see our podcast. So I'm not necessarily interested in a 5-star review. I'm just more interested in other people being able to see what we're about and they have an opinion. So that's more what I'm looking for there, not actually the gratification of a 5 stars. Although I think we're 5-star quality. I think we're pretty dang good.
Yeah, I think the way you shaved today.
5-star.
Yeah, definitely.
5-star.
I see it.
Yeah, I looked in the mirror and I said, 5 stars. So that's about it. That's all I got. So everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been the Scumm Bar, and Anth0z, as we always say,
Yar.
Apparently.
Okay.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.